Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I present to you a very different, a very special sort of video that I've kind of always wanted to make for a while now. And we are actually going to discuss a little bit of my analytics, specifically in terms of what I want to achieve and how things are going so far. So, for the very first time, this is the studio. What you're looking right now is is YouTube studio, and if we go, because this goes in terms of like the last 28 days, this goes all the way back to Wednesday, the 4th of January, where we could see I have 254 views that I've managed to succumb that day. And it goes all the way along, and we see yesterday, my 25th birthday, it gets to 1,166. But it averages, I'd say, roughly maybe 499 or so views per day. We can absolutely do a rough estimate, or one of the other things we can do is go on to Social Blade. Now, I don't really use Social Blade all that much until roughly about the middle of November of last year. But what I found quite interesting about Social Blade is that even though it's not 100% accurate, this is still really the only information as far as, what's outsourced to the general public at large. So, in many ways, you can literally interpret this as sort of saying, on the face of it, this is sort of what this channel does. You can see through Social Blade rankings, through subscriber rankings, video views, country, and ranking in terms of the entertainment category, which I do use. And then we can also go through things like this. Subscribers for the last 30 days, which was 50. And listen, 50 subscribers in 1 month is absolutely not bad whatsoever. But even then, that's a 91.5% deficit from what it was in December and November. And it does say £3 to £40 is estimated rough monthly earnings. There is some leeway a little bit in this, I believe, because it's not, like I said, it's not 100% because of certain things. I'd say about like 95% of my videos don't get monetized. And the things that do, I'm not entirely sure in terms of, well, we could always come back to this and discuss this a bit more. But even more importantly, video views for the last 30 days, an increase of 549.3%. It was, I think I did something about maybe just under 3,000 views in December, and the change in that is remarkable. And if we could even go to the analytics for this, and if I go into advanced mode, we could go from content, traffic source, but the first thing we want to do is actually go all the way to January, Jan 1st to the 31st, and this is sort of what it looks like. And of course the lines illustrate based on these factors right here in terms of the most popular videos during this time. But I think it says something about how strangely this way has gone, because the most viewed piece of content on my channel for the last 31 days is a short I did telling people to follow people on Mastodon, which I think is a very strange thing to happen. But you know what? I don't really know about exactly how that worked, or how they could say I gained 9 subscribers doing this method. But you know what? If that's how it happened, then that's kind of how it happened. Strike while the iron's hot, as I was once told. I will come back to that actually phrase a little bit later, because this is actually going to be a little bit crucial in terms of what I want to describe going forward in February. And then we go from me just checking out things that I really wouldn't think about doing otherwise, like VTuber Iron Mouse, checking out Lady Gaga for like the first time in years. And again, what might also be a very important factor is maybe the title. You know how I don't want to say I'm jumping on the trend of saying, rap artist or heavy metal fan or lawyer or doctor or professional not drowning expert reacts to music. Well, there it is right there, ladies and gentlemen. And it could easily be the case that this is something that people want to see, or people who are just like super fans of Lady Gaga who wanted to see other people's opinions. I mean, I doubt if it's got anything to do with the thumbnail. I mean, God, the days when I still had that double chin, and the fact that I looked as if like I was just trying to cut a jig, but it looked like I didn't know what I was trying to do there, to be honest. And actually, Lady Gaga is something that does come prevalent again, because it goes from applause to Alejandro to paparazzi, and even the wording of the title was maybe suspect as well. Her most overlooked song ever. It opens up a question, and we go through it from there. So, and because it's like 18 minutes in length, the length of the video might justify whether or not there's going to be an interesting question looked ahead. Now, somebody did tell me that, you know, people will look for like the first 15 seconds in terms of like whether or not they're going to stay around or not. But I wonder if even getting onto the video in the first place, because I think there's a huge difference in my mind between clickbait and getting people to stay at all. And the best I can say to stuff like that is, if that's what I can offer, then that's what I got to offer. And if people don't like me for who I am and stuff like that, then unfortunately there's not a great deal I can do about it, apart from maybe changing my... Well, yes, there is things I could do about that, like changing my opinions or changing my style or anything like that. But I will come back to all of these things. And then it goes from my very first video of that year doing Taylor Swift, and then it talks also about the late Gangsta Boo as well, more from Taylor Swift, and then it goes to like sort of Sabaton, a lot of J-rock, J-metal like Ninja Nisu, and even Mongolian stuff as well. And it is a really good factor as well for this channel that it is very multi-diverse and very multicultural, and we check out music from all over the world. And I think, to be honest, in this sort of day and age, I think one of the most important things is to be open, genuine, authentic, and just go with what you say. You don't need necessarily a huge production behind you to say it. You just have to say it, or you just have to do it. Actions speak louder than words, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know. And it does go on because of the next thing I wanted to say. And to do that, we're actually gonna have to go back to Social Blade for a second, and we have to consider this little graph right here. Now, it goes to like the last 2 weeks roughly, and you can see it estimates to plus 583. Now, what I want to showcase to you guys is that this number right here, 583, this is the day before. So this is what I achieved on Wednesday, because of the way this layout works, is that it shows you what I gained in the last 24 hours, because there's no way that Social Blade can say this is how many you got when the day is still going, if that makes sense. And then it could show you 637 from the day before, 664 from the day before, 848, etc, etc, etc. Even showed you just taking yesterday's figure, and bear in mind, I uploaded 25 videos on the 31st of January, and that got 676 views in that day. But there is also a very important case that needs to be brought up when this sort of thing gets brought to light. Is that it's not just for the videos that went out, it's for the videos that were already there. Maybe there are some people that are being drawn more towards. There's more traffic being generated via this channel, based maybe more on the stuff that's being put out in the first place. But how do you do something like that? How do you get the traffic into your jam? It's actually very, very simple. You devise a plan. And I had a plan all throughout 2023 about what I was going to do in terms of generating traffic, and it goes something like this. Throughout January to the end of March, I'm going to be uploading 3 videos a day. That will be 1 at midnight, 1 at 8 a.m, and 1 at 1600. So there's going to be an 8-hour gap between each video. And then it goes back to midnight and the cycle starts all over again. Now, the reason why I've done it like this is for a variety of reasons. Because On location and time zones, you could always argue that when one person might fall asleep, let's say in Buenos Aires, another person in Saragossa might wake up to see, oh, okay, well, we'll check this out. And at the same time, somebody could be falling asleep in, let's say, Mount Midoriyama, just outside Mount Midoriyama, and then somebody might wake up, let's say, in Kiev, and they will see something else that they might see, and so on like that. And the reason why it works is that, again, maybe it's because from a maybe more multicultural, maybe a more time zone exclusive point of view, I want people to sort of like, there'll be something for there to enjoy or anticipate or even get into something that they didn't even think they were going to enjoy. And maybe that is exactly what the plan is. It's delivering something that people somewhere, someplace might enjoy. It's not so much more like a lottery as opposed to you can take what you get. Because remember, 3 videos a day, and we'll do a little bit of math around this. 3 video, and just in January, 3 videos a day works out to something roughly about 93 videos on average in January. Except it's nowhere near, this 93 videos is an enormous underestimate, because in the first place, that is what it would sort of average to. And it doesn't account for anything like shorts, and it definitely won't account for anything regarding some videos I make, which are basically like, which I upload on Sunday, which are reviews and sort of like reflections on how the week has gone. Nor does it take into consideration videos that I put on my other channels, which, if you haven't checked out already, then that's also a good place to showcase just how maddening this scheduling and how much method there is to this madness. But allow me to continue. There are some days throughout the months of this year that I'm going to be doing special events for, and my 25th birthday was just one example. I originally was just going to do 6 videos, but then I decided 25 seems kind of like a more appropriate choice, and there was plenty of choice on offer. We went from stuff like Manowar to Bandmade to Metallica to Lady Gaga to Selena Gomez to Eminem. We covered so much during this period, and I really enjoyed it, and I think it was an absolutely splendid idea, because it meant more people from who enjoyed certain things that were able to. There was something there for everybody, and sometimes it might not always be like that, but the way it happened, I thought it was a little bit for everybody. Also helped by the fact that the way I schedule it 1 video for every hour. So even though, again, it would technically be 25, so that it would be midnight the next day when it would be over, but still, there was something out there for people to see, and I thought it was a smashing idea. And based on the analytics, it's not just it was a tremendous success, but it's also for the fact that people enjoyed it, and that's kind of really all that mattered. If people enjoyed it, if people thought there was something in it, then could you say any more than that? I thought it was a smashing display. And again, people who may not be maybe unfamiliar with my channel, and they see stuff like that, and then it will showcase a lot of the other things that I'll do for my channel, and the cycle continues. So it brings in more people, and it will keep more people when they see what else there is on store. Now, if we go back to YouTube Studio just for 1 second, I'll showcase to you guys the following 1,000 people on Mastodon Short, which got 1,536 views all throughout January. Now, as a very interesting little side note is what you might see under estimated revenue, and the fact that it is 90 pence, which is many ways not good, but it's meant to be sort of like expected, because if I'm taking a look at copyrighted material, then obviously it was going to be ineligible from the very beginning. So there's no way I couldn't have felt, disappointed or let down. because of other things I can do to generate income, such as releasing videos that wouldn't be released on YouTube onto my Patreon store, as well as a whole bunch of videos that were sort of like just lying about. And this is me checking out stuff like Friends or Trigun or even Black Mirror, stuff that wouldn't normally get onto YouTube, and just to let people check it out. And for as little as literally $1 a month, you have like access to all this material. But again, maybe just to what I said earlier, the only way I'm actually going to get people to see any of that is to get the news out there. If I don't, then would this video even come into fruition whatsoever? Probably not, because nobody would be able to see it. And maybe that's like more than anything what the month of January has showcased to me more than anything, is that if you can get your videos out there, then you absolutely have every opportunity to grow and be successful at this. But it only works if you put in the effort, and you don't need to talk to me about effort, ladies and gentlemen. I wrote the book on it. In fact, this entire video right here is basically a showcase of what just putting in the effort can do for you. Because, ladies and gentlemen, and I just kind of want to go back to Social Bay for a second, and we go on to future projections first. Now, I don't necessarily know exactly, again, how legitimate the accuracies of this can be, but my goal, ladies and gentlemen, is for this here, views prediction, and my target is 1 million views on the 15th of August of this year. Significant because it means this channel will be turning 3 years old, and I think that would be a smashing success if we could reach that number. And what I've discovered all throughout January is that beforehand, if I wanted to get to 1 million, it would take something roughly about 3.5 years to get to. Just in January, we went from 3.5 months, 3 years and 7 months, to what I would describe as 2 years and 1 week. That's a huge, huge jump, ladies and gentlemen. And I even kept a schedule about this about a week ago, and I think I worked out that if I was to get this to reach this goal by the time August does roll around, I would need to estimate 4,025 views a day just to get that. Some people might say that that's like almost impossible, but no. No, ladies and gentlemen, it isn't, because there is nothing that can't be solved without some level of perseverance and determination. Maybe it's partly inspired by why I wanted to do videos like this in the first place, because taking a look at this from a pure numbers game, perhaps, point of view, and I'm not calling myself Al Gore or anything like that, but it has to be said, this is a lot better than what it was 30 days ago. So why can't it be that we can't aim for this? If you don't set goals high enough for yourself, ladies and gentlemen, from a personal, a business, or any sort of point of view whatsoever, you're not going to get it. If you don't do it, ladies and gentlemen, then you're going to spend the rest of your life just sort of letting life go by and you not pulling out in front of the race. If you really want to get something, ladies and gentlemen, then you've got to work for it. There is no substitute for hard work in this world, ladies and gentlemen. And again, people might say that, I just check out music and just talk about it for a couple of minutes. Can you really call that work? Well, it's not, well, you're right. It's not really work. It's leisure. It's part of what I enjoy to do. It's part of my recreation. And hey, I work 58 hours a week at a job that's okay at best. I think, from Monday to Saturday, I'd like to imagine that, I'm free to spend my free time as I like. So if it brings me joy and happiness, then that's kind of all you need, really. So, like I said, 2 years and a week just to get this. But then again, what if I really made a video with like a really professional, something like a video, like something maybe like Challenger Andy might do, or if I wanted to do things on the cheap, Why not do something like what Asmongold or Moist Critical might do and talk about a controversial subject and then kept going on about it, make it a regular thing, and generate some income that way? Well, in terms of numbers and stuff like that, would that not be a bit more successful if I did it that way? In many ways, maybe it would, but I would like to do that on a separate channel, because keeping things separate and keeping things like specifically focused seems a lot more viable and a bit better for like consistency wise. And the reason why I wanted to just do this here on this channel specifically, because I think it's just easier that way, if that makes sense. Because I think it's interesting for people to see exactly how things go, and I couldn't really remember seeing any other smaller channels really do this sort of thing. So there is always that. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, there is the detailed statistics. Now, if we go through here, this takes us all the way back to Tuesday the 3rd, and we get 331, and this is really like the lowest it went basically from the 3rd. 158,144, and if we scooch on down to the present day, 174,063. That's nearly 20. Is it nearly 20? That's nearly 20,000 more from when we first started. And it even says right down here, daily averages. This is subscribers, so it's like on average 2 subscribers a day for the last 3 or so weeks. Well, really more month, I would say. And it's an average 528 views per day. Weekly averages is 3,696, and it's on average 14 views. And then the last 30 days, 50 to 15,817 over the last 30 days. And then, of course, yearly estimates like 600 subscribers a year. According to this is all subject to change, because I'm going to continue putting this stuff out there. And when you always continue to put this stuff out there, ladies and gentlemen, if you step up your game and you put more stuff out there that may be a bit more accessible, stuff that might give people more information, then the only way is up, ladies and gentlemen. And the yearly estimate is said to be like 189,000. So that's more than double from when we first started this year. You can even see it from, I'm pretty sure there's like a graph as well I could showcase for. Graph is detailed, similar, future. I think it's under future projections. There we go. It's apparently in Wednesday, the 2nd of February 2028. So 5 years away, I could be up to 198,800 subscribers. Nice and specific. I love it. And by that same time, we could be up to 4,829,841 views. Which is not bad at all, ladies and gentlemen. I think that's actually a very, very substantial figure. But I think by that time, and I would have been doing YouTube for 10 years by that point, I think we could at least put a 0 on the end of that. And I think even for subscribers, we could put a 0 on the end of that as well. People may think that's a very ambitious thing to do, but you know what? Why not? Fortune favours the bold, ladies and gentlemen, and there's plenty... sorry. There's no reason to say why that can't be possible. Because, like I said before, if I could get to the 15th of August with 1 million views under my belt, then that's already almost like a fourth of the way there already, regardless of what the subscribers are and stuff and all the rest of it. So, but in order to do that, ladies and gentlemen, and January is just, I saw as more of like a trial run specifically. So February, in 4 weeks, we've got to go from here to here. We have got to do even better than what we did before. And bear this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, there are special events coming all throughout February and all throughout March. So there's going to be more videos coming out in this month anyway, and in March, and then through April to the end of June, we are going to be doing 4 videos a day, along with special events all throughout that time period. So things are going to go pretty hectic and pretty busy very, very quickly. So you never know exactly, ladies and gentlemen, but I think very strongly if I get to the end of March, we will either be maybe 500,000 views, so we'll be halfway there, or we might be even further than that. I may have set my standards like pretty high, ladies and gentlemen, but you know what? To all sort of similar and smaller channels out there, take it from me, the sky is the limit, so reach for it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that just about covers everything, and that is my analysis for the month of January. Thank you guys so much for staying with me and checking out these numbers as well, and I will see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.